fully reflective, just less than 24 hours after coming off a playoff series. But when you look at what you guys set out to accomplish in training camp this year, talking about being a top defense, doing things by committee, making the playoffs, just how proud are you of this group and what they were able to accomplish?
Exceptionally so. I'm not a big, predictor or goal setter. We want to practice, play the right way all times, treat each other the right way, and we always believe that the results will follow. And so the way that these guys conducted themselves through adversity, the way they held themselves accountable to one another, is for such a young group of players, I thought really impressive, and couldn't be more proud of them. Not just for the wins and losses, but just who they are as people and the way they propped each other up, and really, came through the season, I would say, showing everybody who they are.
We've heard from so many guys throughout the course of the season how unique kind of the culture, how unique the camaraderie was between the players. What made this team special on that front?
They made it special. We have a great high character group of players, and I want to say this actually. The coaches have done a terrific job. Our players have done a terrific job. There's 70 people in this building that come in every day, and they do a terrific job. They work together. They prop one another up. They work really hard to put our players and our coaches in a position to succeed, to enter the game prepared from every possible facet. And I really want to. I wish I could name all 70 of their names, but you guys have already waited long enough, so I won't do that to you. But it really matters. The organization matters, and so. The reason that they have great camaraderie and great chemistry is because they're great people. They create it. It's theirs to create. It's theirs to own.
Is there a sense that these first 3 years have been somewhat of a chapter for you guys as you've kind of started from scratch and moved to the playoffs, and now that you're in the playoffs, it's like the next step for you guys?
That's a great question. I don't really think of it in those terms. I think every day just kind of going home, how can we get better? Where do we need to get better? Where can we game plan to get better? And I believe that our whole organization, that everybody who does their job kind of goes home and asks themselves that. And that's how you're able to drive it forward. Obviously, it is a big deal for us to make the playoffs. I mean, that's a milestone for a young team, especially to make the playoffs. So, but I don't look at that as a chapter or a place in I do think that every time you achieve a milestone, it's new. You learn new information, and it might send a signal to the rest of the league that okay, they're at a certain level now. And so whatever that means, from teams understanding what you're trying to accomplish this summer, from maybe free agents wanting to look at your place as a potential destination, definitely signals to people that, hey, the Magic are coming.
And what information for this season, what does that signal for you?
I'm sorry, asking.
Where does now that you've made the playoffs, now that you've had this year of information, what does that signal for you for what's next?
Well, I think we learned a lot about the character of our team. I think we learned where our guys propped one another up. I think that there's still, like, when you go into a playoff series, it magnifies everything, it compresses everything, it teaches you a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your team. I also don't want to take too much from that. It's just one series and it's against one opponent. Some of this stuff now, we will allow all these guys to get out of here for a little bit, decompress. We will regroup and kind of assemble the pieces back together. We'll go through the draft process. We will start to hear from other teams, and we'll figure out next steps. We have a lot of difficult decisions to make.
Jeff, along those lines, you've got some cap space to work with. I mean, what kind of are some of your thought processes going forward over the summer with that, and how you want to address maybe some of the needs the team maybe wants to have going into next season?
Yeah. Well, I mean, cap space can be used in an array of ways, and I'm not exactly sure yet how we'll look to target our needs. Sometimes it can be done through trades. It can be done through draft. Obviously, when I stood here last year and I talked about internal growth, I mean, if you think about what we've done this year, we added Joe Ingles and 2 rookies, and we went from 34 to 47. So there are a lot of different ways to address improvement. Obviously, cap space is an instrument that we have at our disposal this summer. It won't be there forever, but it has to be used wisely, and it has to be used with future planning in mind. So those will all be things that we discuss as we kind of regroup, and it's all layered into kind of like getting ready for the draft, and then free agency right behind that, and it's all so close together these days that it's one big mess. So that's what we'll kind of address when we get back.
Jeff, I know it's only the day after, but you've mentioned needs a couple of times. Are you prepared now that you can say what your needs are?
Well, I think we have a lot of needs. I know that the most publicly highlighted need, if I were to ask, would probably be shooting. But I think that there are a lot of different ways to address shooting even, and I look at some of our guys I would say had, down shooting years that I would expect to be better. I think that's part of our internal growth. Obviously, we can add free agents. We can draft players. I will say this, for whatever it's worth, since January 1st, we were the 14th, I believe, 3-point percentage team in the NBA. So I don't believe we are totally bereft of shooting. I think some of this is guys grow up, they get better, they find their rhythm, and when you have a team as young as ours, when we talk about player development, this is part of developing a player is shooting, and they get better as the longer they're in the league. It's kind of a pretty linear chart in that respect. So I do feel that it's an area where we obviously want to look to get better, but not at the expense of the things that cost us our DNA. There's a reason we were a good team this year, and we don't want to lose that.
One of the other things that was kind of highlighted throughout the year is that how young this team is. How do you balance fostering that internal growth, making sure that those young players are supported and still kind of injecting the team with maybe some new pieces or some new players that can help them get over that hump or help make things a little easier for them?
That is a great question. And, as the team continues to improve, we've been very intentional about keeping a pathway for all of our young players to grow and develop. And obviously, we believe in all these young guys or they wouldn't be here. And that said, the bar gets raised a little bit as you start to win games. So, those will be part of the discussions that we have about, improving our team, how much of that can come internally. We don't want to lose the North Star of our team, which is that our 3 leading scorers are 22 and under, and I know there are a lot of good things that happened to our team this year. Now it's up to us to earn our way into repeating that, and we don't take that for granted. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to keep our place held, and then we build from there. So those will be part of the discussions. And then look, a lot of the questions you guys are asking, how do you do this, how do you do that? These involve partners. These involve conversations with other teams, with agents at the right time for free agency. And it's not just we're in a vacuum here and we're just going to go do this or do that. It takes dance partners, and we have to feel what other teams are looking to do. We obviously have to go through the draft process. So, that will all unfold in the next, whatever it is, 6, 7, 8 weeks.
You mentioned the North Star. 3 of your top scorers are 22 and under. Franz and Jalen are both eligible for extensions this summer. How important is that to get done this summer for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a huge component of the summer is we have young players who are extension eligible. Again, that gets layered into free agency and the draft, and obviously, we want to try to keep together our core and build, not subtract. That said, I've told you guys for a while now, cap space is great, but this is coming at all of us, especially with the new CBA. We have a lot of hard decisions to make coming up. And so that starts this summer. So we'll obviously engage with the representatives for the players that are extension eligible. We'll be hopeful that we can, come to some sort of agreement. But we'll go forward and do the best we can do and continue to grow the team that we have.
Jeff, as you look at growth, what Paulo was able to do in his second year in the NBA, how impressed were you with his regular season, what he did in the playoffs, and even in a pivotal Game 7?
I mean, how can you not be wildly impressed with Paulo, man? To be able to lock in and process through the season within a game, as quickly and as efficiently as he does at age 21 is just kind of, I don't know what to say, it's uncommon. You just haven't seen that happen that often in this league. So those are obviously coupled with his physical abilities and gifts. He's got a tremendous potential, a tremendous future in front of him, and most importantly, he is 100% motivated by winning and lifting up others, whatever that takes. So obviously we're extremely excited about Paulo. Thrilled to have him on the team. And, I think his growth and his potential speak for themselves. There's nothing really that I can add.
With as quickly as he did that, do you think it's motivating the other young guys to maybe expedite their growth and their getting better at their games to where, that'll make it easier for you on this roster to roll some things back?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think it's the question of, when you talk about internal growth, what are you growing? And part of that is even leadership, and I think that our young guys are very self-aware. They're great teammates. Nobody wants to assume that they can take something that they haven't earned, and they all know that about one another. And so, yeah, when the team gets better and we win more games, the bar gets raised for everybody. And obviously Paulo's a huge driver of that, and that gets spread out to the whole team, and that's a good thing. That's how you win. So yeah, I think it's a great point.
Jeff, so often when you spoke since you got here, it was about giving fans a team that they could be proud of. The fan support this season, was tremendous. Like all kinds of attendance records. When you look at your team's record at home and in the playoffs, how good it was. How much did you feel that bond continue to grow between the team and the fans?
I mean, I hope they're proud of us. I really hope that they're proud of our players. I can tell you that our players are so appreciative of our fans. I don't think we would have had this season without them. And, we don't ever take that for granted. We have the best fans in the league, and they really showed who they are in the playoffs, man. And I hope they had fun, and I hope that they're excited about the ride that we're all about to go on. But it doesn't happen without them. So I say a big shout out, a big thanks to the fans.
Jeff, after how this season went, going into the draft and into free agency, how attractive do you think the Orlando Magic is to players and new players coming into the league?
I think we're growing. I think that we have a lot of momentum, a lot of people that I run into, through the course of the season, and especially as we kind of head into the playoffs, and even in the last couple days, have really, expressed an enthusiasm for what we're doing here. The one thing that excites me is I know that everybody here emanates that outwardly. Even the building that we're standing in right now. It all brings us together, and I feel like we are definitely becoming a place that players want to play, and a team with a locker room and a coaching staff that guys want to be a part of. And one thing I always believe NBA players want to be part of something bigger than themselves. They work really hard. It's a team sport. They all know that they need everything to prop them up to be successful. And I believe that we will attract those sorts of people. And I think we're on our way. We have a lot of work to do. We've had one, season where we kind of made the playoffs, and, we need to do a lot better than that. But I think we're on the way.
How do you feel about Jets' rookie year? You drafted him pretty high. You got to get a lot of reps in the G League. You've got the 18th pick in next month's draft. Do you feel like using Jet as a G League guy, could that be a strategy used in the future potentially for this pick?
Well, I think a lot of teams use the G League. You know, I mean, there were a lot of lottery picks that spent a lot of time in the G League this year. I won't name names, but you know, you guys know who spent time there. The G League is a great resource. I think the days are long gone where the G League was kind of you know, looked at as oh, we're sending you down, or some sort of like punishment. The G League is a tremendous resource to play, get high level reps. We care greatly about our coaching staff and our management staff in the G League being very wedded to our organization, and everything that they do down there, we're like interlocked. So I think Jet had a great rookie year. Now obviously it's not going to show up to the fans who come to the Orlando games, but Jet had a great rookie year. He got so much better in a lot of areas that we had targeted when we drafted him. And you know, when we talk about the team needs shooting, you know, Jet's a very talented young man. He's worked really hard. He's expressed the humility and the drive and the work ethic to, it doesn't matter where I am, I'm here to get better. I'm here to get better so that when I'm coming to Orlando, I'm ready to help the team. And so I'm really excited about like the season that he had, the way that the G League was used, and as to, you know, and I have to say, give props to Coach Dillon and Kevin Tiller for the job they did to set up Osceola the way that they did, because it really did function, you know, at a high level for us, and it really did benefit Jet. As to this draft pick, I don't know. You know, we'll see what that looks like, who that guy is, what his needs are. It's not like we just pick a guy and send him to the G League. It's more, what does this player need? What are the things that we're targeting, and how best are those needs addressed? And for Jet, we felt they were best addressed by getting his reps in the G League.
Everyone good? Okay. All right.
Thanks, Jet.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you.